So, Stu, oh my goodness. How excited were you when you heard Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas talk about the new DHS Disinformation Governance Board?
Oh, I was thrilled.
Yeah, right?
I was thrilled.
Right?
Anytime I hear anything from Mayorkas, my favorite Greek yogurt is... I
eat that too.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's really good.
It's really good. Yeah. Every time...
Chunky.
It's a little chunky.
It's a little chunky.
Yeah. And but lots of protein, very healthy. Everything he does is good for you.
Yeah. No misinformation there.
No. And so we haven't. This is what we've always needed. You know, people get confused at times, and I don't know if you've noticed this over our history. There has been disagreement on different topics, and what is true and what isn't, and what's the best approach.
And the government should decide
decide it for us.
Yeah,
so we don't have to have all these arguments.
Amen, brother. Amen. So, we wouldn't have had this problem if Lincoln just would have had a disinformation board.
Right.
He could have just arrested and silenced or killed all those people that were saying all these untruths about slavery.
Right. I mean, obviously, I think if there was a disinformation board back in the day, they would have been saying that slavery was good and Lincoln was wrong.
Yeah.
But forget about that for a second, and we'll just talk about how they're now
have
evolved.
Disinformation. No, Lincoln didn't really care about the slaves.
Oh.
Hello.
Right.
Okay. So I'm really glad, because if we have this disinformation board, they're going to be able to stop things like the Russian collusion story, that went on for 4 years. If we would have had the Department of Homeland Security, they would have said, no, guys, that's not true. In fact, the FBI has been altering documents and lying to the FISA court, the secret court. They've been lying to them. So that's not true. So don't report that. So that would have been good. Or the Steele dossier and the Golden Shower and all of that. We could have said, no. The DHS has just come out and said, no, Steele has been discredited by the FBI, and he's making all of this stuff up, and here's the evidence of it, or like the Donald Trump has 7 hours missing on January 6th on his phone logs. Could have had that, or the laptop's not real, or actually it was not real, then it was stolen, so we can't report on it because it was stolen. Which none of that was true. Then it was a Russian op, and that wasn't true. And now it's all about Hunter and has nothing to do with Joe, which is not true now. So the DHS could stop that. Wouldn't that be great? Oh man, if they could have been around when the disinformation of if you like your health care, you can keep it. Wouldn't it have been great if the government would have had that disinformation stopped?
It's weird because Obama had a version of this in his campaign.
Huh?
Remember this? They had a disinformation quick response team.
Oh, that's right.
That would step out and make sure whenever there were lies
But that didn't really, that wasn't run by the DHS.
Yeah, you need to have it in the DHS,
you have to have
for sure. Got to be in the government.
That might have stopped Ben Rhodes from lying about the Iran deal to get it done, remember? And then coming out and bragging about, I lied. Yeah. I lied about that Iran thing to be able to get that thing done, Or the lies about the masks that the government was proud of lying about. It was a noble lie. Now, I don't know if the DHS is going to stop noble lies. You know what I mean?
I don't think they should do that.
Yeah,
noble lies should be allowed to fly.
There's a difference. Or the voting rights bill. Man, wouldn't it be great if the DHS would have had this disinformation service and they could have stopped, all the people in the government and the press saying that the voting rights bill is to stop black people from voting. Wouldn't that have been great? We need this so bad. We do. Or the Wuhan lab, that leak.
Couldn't have been possible.
Absolutely, definitely did not. Don't even talk about it.
Not a possibility.
Impossible. Yeah.
And that comes, that one was definitely true because it came right from the people who did it. Yeah, that's how you know.
Yeah.
They said they didn't do it.
Right.
And they were the ones that would have had to have done it. So it's like when you ask a murder, you ask O.J. Simpson, did you kill your wife? Now, he did write a book saying if he did it. Yeah. He gave kind of the outline but he didn't do it. And if he says he didn't do it, he's the expert. He was there.
He was there. Were you there? No, he was there.
I wasn't in a Wuhan
lab. Or in his case, not there.
Not in his case, right. In his specific case,
and with
not
the
there.
Wuhan lab, I mean, they were there or not there, so they would know.
Find the expert. Who's the expert on O.J. Simpson murdering Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman? O.J. Simpson.
Imagine the DHS if they could have stopped. Remember the Obama cages that they didn't report on, said it didn't exist, but did. At the border.
Sure.
And then they said that Trump built those cages, and then we have cages now, and they say they're not cages. Imagine if we could stop the misinformation there. That would be good. Or the horse whipping guys. Ooh, that would have been a good one to stop. Or the Brett Kavanaugh is a rapist. Oh, can you imagine if they could have stopped that disinformation? Or the new one now, I like this, is the trans care for kids is reversible. Or could we please play cut one here? Here's a teacher about being very, very careful about what we teach our kids. Listen to this.
And two other trans-identified high school teachers put together a language guide. Our site is called genderinclusivebiology.com.
Yeah.
And some things that we come up on a lot are for teaching about cell division or reproduction. A lot of textbooks, a lot of existing teaching will say, well, women produce eggs. Males are more likely to be colorblind. The mother carries the fetus for this many months. And some ways that we can show our support for trans and non-binary students are just to clean up that language, be more precise. We can be more accurate and be more inclusive. So I would say, no, it's not women that produce eggs. It's ovaries that produce eggs. That's accurate. Okay. That's precise. We're acknowledging that not all women produce eggs, and also not all egg producers are women, for example.
Yeah.
And we're teaching students that language matters.
It does. Language does matter.
You are saying that. I will say, I agree with that part of it. They are teaching students that language matters.
Yes, they are. And, not all women produce eggs. Okay, true.
Yeah, it's true.
What was the other one?
Not all egg producers are women.
Are women.
That one.
We should call the DHS on that one.
I'm not a biologist. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who could know?
Hey, can you imagine if we had the DHS on the BLM peaceful protests?
That would have helped.
Or the fact that they raised millions and millions of dollars and then just stole the money.
They bought some nice real estate. I wouldn't say.
You're right. Or imagine having the DHS, if they were there, to say, hey. That's not what Trump said about Charlottesville and the Nazis. That would have been. Or the horse dewormer thing. Or injecting bleach. Or calling him a white supremacist, and everything he does is hate speech and trying to, all of that. That would be wow. Or inflation and gas prices caused by Putin. That would be. We should get the DHS on that one.
I'm sure they'll be all over it. I mean, that's a current one.
Think of that. I mean,
long list.
That's a long list. That was just me 5 minutes before we went on. I would like to open up the phones today. Today's a day. You talk whatever you want to talk about. I'd love to hear, if you actually got on your zoning board or if you're running for, I'd like to hear some local success stories. If you have any, give me hope for the love of God. But I'd also like, can you fill out that list? Because that's a pretty comprehensive list. That took me 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, I mean it's not full, but you've got a lot on there for 5 minutes. That's for sure.
For 5 minutes. Now that's so DHS yesterday, in case you haven't heard, has come out and said that they have a Disinformation Homeland Security Governance Board, and they're very concerned about the minority communities. Okay, very concerned about the minority communities. And so, I mean, because that's really where the disinformation is happening, don't you think, Stu? Spanish language, disinformation campaigns. I got to tell you, I'm in these secret, GOP meetings all the time.
Right.
The Star Chamber. Mm-hmm. And we talk about it all the time. But we speak in Angolan because nobody speaks that on the left,
Right.
And so it's the ultimate white language. Mm-hmm. And Angola, where is Angola? Anyway, so we're speaking in Angolan.
Right.
And we've been plotting to just take over, continue our takeover of the Spanish language channels, Univision, it's ours. It's ours. So we've done this for a long time.
That doesn't seem like it's really supporting all the GOP.
That's our disinformation campaign. So anyway, they're concerned about that. They're concerned about disinformation about the border and about Russia. Okay, they're very concerned about those two things. Oh, and inflation. So they're going to be looking into those. Aren't those the things that maybe everybody's going to be talking about during the election? I'm just saying. By the way, Nina Jankowicz is going to be the head of the disinformation center for the DHS, and she's great because, well, she was the one who said, "Hey, this laptop thing, that's Russian disinformation," so she knows it. She's good.
Then she called a Trump product?
Yeah, a Trump product. Yeah, a Trump product. And, the other thing I really like about her, and I'll get into this later if we want to, but she is on the board of trustees for the Eurasia Foundation and is a global fellow. I'm not going to need to say any more than this. She's also a global fellow at the Woodrow Wilson International Center.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So
great.
I mean, what else could you ask for?
That is so perfect. I can't even. It's as if they designed the story for us.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so there you have it, gang. Welcome to it. We're going to make sure that you get the right information until DHS, shuts everybody down. But it'll be Elon Musk that's responsible for it.